want to kind of rewind back to 1978. Okay. Even though your career began much earlier, because that's when you did.
That's about where it began. Actually, it was 1972. I did two movies before the Romero films. I did Death Dream and Deranged in Canada before hooking up with George years later for Martin. Yeah.
So how did, because going back to George, and I wish he was still around. I hate when these
Oh, man.
people.
He would be perfect for this show.
I know, but just in general, he was such a good spirit and a nice guy. And, going to a lot of conventions, I'd always see him there. How's it going? Anyway, so how did that come about? How did it happen? Because that kind of really blew your
The George
career
Romero
out.
thing?
Yes.
Okay, I was a sophomore in high school. George came to I was an all-boys high school, coat and ties.
Wow.
He came to my high school looking for a kid to be in a movie called Wine of the Fawn. It never got made. But he picked me out of...
Were you like an altar boy or something?
No,
or
I was in a high school play.
Okay, but it was an all-boys school, which are generally religious or
No,
parochial.
well, it's a Catholic high school.
That's what I thought.
Central Catholic High School.
Got it.
So he came, he picked me, and we did a screen test. The movie never got made. But years later, I heard he was doing Night of the Living Dead. So I went there with my portfolio, and he was so busy, I was following him around, flipping pages and showing him. He said, we can use you on this gig. But then I was in Vietnam when he made...
Wow.
But years later, I directed the remake for him.
Okay.
So it came full circle, yeah.
The remake of
Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, I didn't
That's
know
mine.
that.
Wait
a minute. Okay, wait. But Dawn of the Dead.
I directed Night of the Living Dead.
The
90.
remake, which was when? What was that?
1990.
Oh my goodness! All right, we'll get there.
Okay.
I blew that because I didn't know that. I did not know that you directed that.
Yeah.
All right, but
for George.
For George. So okay, but now Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that because it's a
of Dawn of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. So I was doing a play in North Carolina, Line in Winter or something, and got a telegram. Back then it was telegrams from George.
Yes.
And instead, we have another gig. Start thinking of ways to kill people. Okay. That's exactly what it said. So I knew what he was talking about because I didn't get to do Night of the Living Dead.
right.
And my feeling was Night of the Living Dead was a black and white movie.
It was.
How do I make the zombies instantly recognizable? So they were all gray.
Right.
However, the lighting turned them blue, it turned them green, but they were gray, purely water-based gray makeup.
Okay.
And that's how you were able to tell who was a zombie and who
But
wasn't.
you needed to know that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and
Amazing.
that's really it. I mean, I think 80% of the kills we came up with, or I came up
Right.
with,
Right.
George, how about if we drive this guy's wearing a tool belt, take a screwdriver and stick in his ear, and he'd go, okay.
Right.
So, 2 hours later, I'm building a retractable screwdriver.
Amazing.
But that's what we would do. We would just go up to him and say. The thing I resent about Dawn of the Dead, though, is the color of the blood. Do you remember?
Okay.
It looks like melted crayons. It looks
Possibly. It looks so,
bad.
to me, look, I was in Italy watching these movies. So I saw as a kid, I mean, I forget the age, but a little kid-ish, probably 15, I think, the original Night of the Living Dead,
Yeah.
which was a talk about freak show. That was, if you had never seen anything like it before, especially in the movie theaters, because we were, there was no TV, no video, all the easy access material today didn't exist. So you had to go to the movie theater.
Exactly.
And I had heard that this movie was insanely awesome. And I'd seen horror movies. I thought it'd be a more benign horror movie. And
Right.
I thought this is just a whole new universe. And it
Well,
freaked me
there
out.
aren't a lot of, let's say, like Dawn of the Dead kills in it,
Right.
But it was like if at home you watched a black and white television.
Right.
The news was in black and white.
Right.
So the original Night of the Living Dead comes off like a documentary, a broadcast.
Which is part of its
Charm.
amazing magic and
Yeah,
charm.
yeah.
But it was also, I mean, for that time, super realistic. There were things that you've never seen before. I love something that's first. You've not seen the canvas. You've not seen people do that. You think, are they really going to go there? And oh my God, they did. It was like such a thrill, but also really effective, for a movie in the 60s.
Right.
60s, right? 68
68
or
I think,
something?
Yeah.
So 10 years later, you do Dawn of the Dead. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And
Which
we
was
hold
terrific.
back. We don't hold back at all.
Not at all.
Right.
But again, I saw, and it's also funny, I say this sometimes, most of these iconic classic movies as a little kid growing up in Italy, I saw first in Italian.
Yeah.
And everyone spoke great Italian, but of course it's all dubbed. So that's a whole different, I know it's really weird. And then I came back and I started rewatching the classics, including the Universal movies that I love from the 30s.
In Italian.
Well, then I watched them in English when I
Okay.
moved back here, but I saw them all first in Italian,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is really weird. Anyway, so Dawn of the Dead, which was amazing. And then, okay, so 1990, you did the remake. You directed the remake.
Yes. George came up to me and he
Damn.
said, we got another gig. I got the financing for Night of the Living Dead. My first thought was, great, I get to create zombies again
Right.
for George. He said, no. I want you to direct it, okay? Because I had directed 3 episodes of Tales from the Dark Side.
Right, I remember that.
2 of those episodes, they had feature film scripts written for. In fact, it was, I can't think of her name.
Director or actress?
Writer.
Writer.
Edith Swenson or something.
Okay.
But she wrote something big. And a guy that wrote, his name is McDowell. Anyway, they hired these 2 great screenwriters to do feature film versions
Right.
of 2 of my Dark Side episodes.
Oh,
It never
wow.
happened. But
Interesting.
George liked mine the best, okay? And he asked me to direct Night of the Living Dead
Right.
90. And he couldn't do it. He didn't want to do it. He said, I've already done that. He was writing The Dark Half. He was in Florida writing The Dark Half while I directed the
Wow.
Night of the Living Dead.
And was that your first directorial?
Well, The Dark Side. I
The Dark
directed
Side,
3,
right.
but the first
That was
feature.
feature.
Yeah.
And who released that? Who was the company that? Do we even know?
Columbia.
It was Columbia. It was a
Columbia
major
took
studio.
it over. Columbia took it over, which decreased our post production by 8 weeks. We only had like 2 or 3 weeks to
I've been there, yes,
post.
yes.
And but in even the remake of Night of the Living Dead, Barbara was a brain dead twit like the first
Right,
movie. She
right.
did nothing. And I had just seen Alien and Sigourney Weaver, a female hero.
Yeah.
I wanted Barbara to be a hero, so I went to George and said, why can't Barbara come back and help these people?
Right.
Oh, she's dead. No, you only see Johnny drag her out.
She can be undead.
So he wrote her.
That's amazing.
So in the remake, you get a bit of a sequel,
Right.
because it goes beyond, the original movie. But we stick pretty close to the original movie. In
Right.
fact, even the actors I hired, I wanted them to look as much like the original actors as possible, except for Barbara,
Right.
because I knew she was going to be different.
That is
and
so
Patty
cool.
Tallman, who played the part.
Right.
We were classmates at Carnegie Mellon University in fight classes, and
That's
and she's a
incredible.
stunt woman, So yeah, so she has a great arc from the
Right.
million-mile school teacher to the kick-ass.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch that again, knowing all this. 'Cause,
Okay,
I'm
great,
just
great.
a kid there, kind of a kid.
And we made
Young
up for the
adult.
stupid blood color in Dawn of the
You
Dead.
did. That's
Because Dick Smith taught us his blood formula,
Right.
which is the blood
Oh
formula.
my God, Dick Smith.
In fact, you know about The Godfather, where Coppola complained to Dick Smith that the blood didn't look realistic. Dick went and cut his own finger open and went to Francis and said, well, how about this? Oh, that looks terrible. This is my real blood. This is my
Wow,
blood.
That's a great story.
Yeah, right. Well, Dick Smith, the god of
Smith.
makeup. Yeah.